The year is 2847. The Galactic Council convenes on the crystalline spires of Nexus Prime, just as they have for the past 3 centuries. Representatives from 12 species gather in the Grand Chamber, their forms ranging from the ethereal Lumina to the massive, stone-like Kryn. They discuss trade routes, territorial disputes, and resource allocation across 17 star systems. But there's one topic that never appears on their agenda anymore. One species that hasn't been mentioned in official records for over 300 years. Humanity. The violent, chaotic race that destroyed themselves in what the galaxy came to call the Great Silence. Earth had gone dark in 2542, and when scout ships finally arrived decades later, they found nothing but ruins and radiation. The humans were gone, erased by their own hand, a cautionary tale whispered across the stars. Or so they thought. Section 1, The Great Silence, 1 to 330. To understand what happened next, we need to go back to the beginning. Back to when humanity first reached for the stars. In 2087, humanity achieved faster-than-light travel. Within 50 years, we'd established colonies on 6 worlds and made first contact with the Viridian Collective. At first, the galaxy seemed excited to meet us. We were innovative, adaptable, full of art and culture and scientific curiosity. But we were also aggressive, territorial, and frighteningly good at war. The other species watched nervously as humanity expanded. We didn't follow the traditional paths of galactic civilization. We modified our bodies with cybernetics. We terraformed worlds with reckless abandon. We bred and populated faster than any species they'd ever encountered. Within a century, human colonies numbered in the hundreds. Then came the Syndicate Wars of 2347. A century-long conflict between human factions that spilled across multiple star systems. The galaxy watched in horror as we turned our weapons on ourselves, deploying technologies so devastating that 3 entire planets became uninhabitable. The other species intervened, forcing a peace treaty and imposing strict regulations on human expansion. Resentment festered. Humanity felt constrained, controlled, treated like children by species that feared our potential. Extremist movements grew. Tensions escalated. And then, in 2542, all communication from human space simply stopped. When scout ships finally entered the Sol system in 2589, they found Earth's cities in ruins, its orbital stations shattered and drifting. Mars, Titan, Europa, all the human colonies in the home system were similarly devastated. Radiation signatures suggested massive nuclear and antimatter detonations. The consensus was clear: humanity had destroyed itself in one final, apocalyptic civil war. The Galactic Council declared humanity extinct. Earth was quarantined as a tomb world. And the galaxy moved on, secretly relieved that the dangerous, unpredictable humans were gone. Section 2, The Council's Complacency, 330 to 530. For 300 years, the galaxy prospered without humanity. The Galactic Council grew comfortable, even complacent. Trade flourished. Technology advanced at a steady, predictable pace. The 12 remaining species fell into established patterns, their relationships stable if not always harmonious. The Viridians, with their advanced energy manipulation, dominated scientific research. The Kryn provided security with their massive fleets of slow but heavily armored warships. The Lumina served as diplomats and mediators with their telepathic abilities. Each species had its niche, its role in the galactic ecosystem. But cracks were beginning to show. The Axian Dominion, a militaristic species from the galactic rim, had been slowly expanding their territory for decades. They pushed boundaries, tested limits, absorbed smaller species colonies through intimidation and force. The Council issued sanctions and warnings, but the Axians ignored them. What could the Council really do? A full-scale war would devastate everyone involved. By 2847, the Axians controlled nearly a quarter of the known galaxy. Their empress, Zarthak the Conqueror, openly mocked the Council's weakness. She she knew what they refused to admit: the Council had no teeth. The Kryn fleet was powerful but slow to mobilize. The Viridians were scientists, not warriors. The other species lacked the military might or the will to challenge the Axians. It was only a matter of time before the Dominion made its final move. Everyone knew it. The Council argued in circles, proposing diplomatic solutions that the Axians would never accept, unable to agree on military action. Then came the distress call from Kepler 442b, a thriving colony world on the border of Axian space. The message was brief and desperate: the Axian fleet was attacking without provocation, targeting civilian centers. It was a declaration of intent. The Dominion was done with pretense. The Council convened in emergency session. As representatives debated responses and drafted strongly worded condemnations, the sensor arrays at Nexus Prime detected something impossible. A single ship emerging from slip space at the edge of the system. Its signature unlike anything in their databases. Its trajectory direct and unwavering, heading straight for the planet. Section 3, The Arrival, 5:30 to 8 o'clock. The warship that entered Nexus Prime's orbit was a nightmare made manifest. It was massive, easily 3 kilometers long, its hull a patchwork of materials both familiar and alien. Sections of it looked almost organic, as if grown rather than built. Other parts bristled with weapons that the Council's sensors couldn't even classify. The ship's energy output was off the charts, powered by something far beyond conventional fusion or antimatter reactors. Most disturbing of all was its design philosophy. This wasn't a ship built for exploration or even simple conquest. Every line, every angle, every system was optimized for one purpose: war. This was a vessel built by a species that had perfected violence and emerged from the other side. The Council's defense fleet moved to intercept, but before they could hail the vessel, it transmitted on all frequencies. The message was simple, delivered in a dozen galactic languages, but one voice stood above the rest. A human voice, speaking flawless galactic common. This is the UHSV Phoenixborn, acting as diplomatic envoy of the United Human Remnant. We request permission to address the Galactic Council on matters of mutual concern. We come in peace, but we come prepared. The Grand Chamber erupted in chaos. Humans. Impossible. They'd been extinct for 3 centuries. This had to be a trick, a hoax, maybe even an Axian psychological operation. But the genetic markers checked out. The linguistic patterns matched historical human communication. And that ship, that terrible, beautiful ship, bore design elements found in the ruins of human colonies. This was real. After hours of heated debate, the Council agreed to receive the human delegation. They had no choice, really. That warship could likely destroy their entire defense fleet before they could mount an effective response. Better to talk and understand what they were dealing with. The human ambassador who materialized in the Council chamber via transporter was not what they expected. She was tall, athletic, her appearance modified with subtle cybernetics that enhanced rather than replaced her humanity. Her name was Commander Arya Chen, and she carried herself with the confidence of someone who knew exactly how dangerous she appeared. Honorable Council members, she began, her voice calm but carrying an edge of steel. I understand our return comes as a shock. You believed us extinct, and for good reason. What happened to Earth, to our home system, was catastrophic. But it wasn't self-destruction. It was survival. Section 4, The Truth, 8 to 10:30. Commander Chen's revelation sent shockwaves through the Council. The Great Silence hadn't been a civil war. It had been an exodus. In the face of mounting galactic pressure and internal strife, humanity's greatest minds had devised a desperate plan. They would fake their own extinction, use the cover of a fabricated apocalypse to buy time for a massive undertaking, a journey beyond the galactic rim, into the vast darkness between galaxies. The destruction of Earth and the inner colonies had been real, but deliberate. Automated weapons had been triggered, creating the appearance of a civilization-ending war. Meanwhile, billions of humans had already departed on massive generation ships, heading into the void carrying humanity's collective knowledge, culture, and unburning determination to survive. For 300 years, humanity had wandered the darkness between galaxies. They'd found worlds, strange and alien, untouched by any galactic civilization. They'd encountered dangers that would have broken lesser species, sentient nebulae, reality-warping anomalies, and species so ancient and hostile that they made the Axians look like children playing at war. Humanity had been tested in that darkness. They'd lost millions. Entire colony fleets had disappeared without trace. But those who survived had been forged into something new, something harder and more unified than the fractured species that had fled the galaxy. They'd also learned. The ruins they'd found, the technologies they'd salvaged from extinct civilizations, the weapons they'd been forced to develop to survive in an environment more hostile than any in the known galaxy. Humanity had returned with knowledge that would revolutionize galactic civilization. "We didn't come back for conquest," Commander Chen explained, her words measured and clear. "We came back because this is our galaxy too. Because we've learned what waits in the darkness."